All right, this Michael Jordan stuff is pretty wild. And as you can see here, recently Michael B. Jordan, the actor, won an Oscar, and then there was this artificially viral moment where he celebrated with In-N-Out burgers. Here's the picture here, the Oscar with the In-N-Out, Michael B. Jordan. After he was handed a statuette for Best Actor at the Academy Awards, Michael B. Jordan received another Golden Prize, a cheeseburger. The actor, who won for his performance in the vampire blues film Sinners, stopped by fast food chain In-N-Out Burger after the Hollywood ceremony. The role that he won the Oscar for is playing these quote-unquote twins in Sinners. Smoke and Stack. The first thing that sticks out to me is the fact that it's Michael B. Jordan and it's twin sinners. Well, all you have to do is go look at corporate logos like Balenciaga, where they take a B and flip it around and put it next to the other B. What does that look like? Well, it's 88. Okay? Here's another example. 88. In other words, Michael B. Jordan playing twins is subconsciously implanting this perception of 88 in relationship to what they are infusing into you through the characters that he is portraying on the screen. That's transferred into your mind through this process. So Michael B. Jordan, 88, goes to In and Out Burger. What is In and Out? Well, it's trading places. Something is coming in while something is going out. This is Tron Ares, where they show digital characters coming into the real world and real world characters going into the digital world. It's trading places. It's in and out. Do you see what they have done here? So you have Michael B. Jordan, 88, in and out. Trading places involves a plot surrounding orange juice futures. Then there's the Supertramp album cover where you're viewing New York City as breakfast utensils and food items through a plain window. And the Statue of Liberty torch is a glass of orange juice on the Twin Towers, which are overlaid onto the U and the P so that it looks like 9/11. Likewise, O.J. Simpson, the juice, orange juice, interrupts an NBA game in New York when he is fleeing as a suspected murderer, and his friend Al is driving the white Bronco with OJ in the back seat. Al is AI. It's the first horse of the apocalypse, the revealing, the in and out, right? The transfer of your consciousness into the device as the device comes out into the real world simultaneously. It's a fusion. In any event, Michael Jordan, the NBA basketball player, one of the most famous names in the entire world, everybody knows who Michael Jordan is, or at least they did, right? That's probably changed now to other people for younger generations. For example, Messi is probably more famous than Michael Jordan now. But at the time when 9/11 transpired in New York in 2001, Michael Jordan was one of the most famous names in the entire world. He announces his return to the Washington Wizards on 9/11/2001. The Wizards from Washington who would conduct this ritual are subconsciously implicated in the context of Michael Jordan being in the news before that first plane hit the tower at 8:46 a.m. Breakfast in America. The new pope, who chose the name Leo, is from Chicago. And this is the Chicago Bulls logo turned upside down, which Michael Jordan is synonymous with. He played almost his entire career with the Bulls. He won all of his NBA titles with the Bulls. And you can see what they did with this logo here, where this is very clearly someone wearing a robe or some type of ceremonial outfit conducting a ritual. Which is exactly what 9/11 was, and everything else that we see is. It's the Washington Wizards and Michael Jordan, 9/11. The Bulls, during Michael Jordan's playing career there, came out to this song titled Sirius by the Alan Parsons Project. And the album that the song Sirius is from has the first side with these tracks: Sirius, Eye in the Sky, Children of the Moon, Gemini, Silence, and I. Gemini Man, the Moon Child, Eye in the Sky, Sirius, Silence, and I. Chris Rainbow with the lead vocals on Gemini, the Bowman. The association between Pope Leo and Leo the Lion, Regulus, the Lion's Gate, and Donald Trump. Trump was born under a total lunar eclipse blood moon, with Regulus in a certain position that amplified his later visibility, which ties into his pull on everyone and his role in demolishing the old world so that something new will be built in its place. He is the Great American Eclipse, the Moon Child. Pope Leo from Chicago becomes Pope after Pope Francis dies at 88 after meeting with James Donald Bowman, aka J.D. Vance. Donald Bowman. Jordan borders Israel. The Lion's Gate in Jerusalem. Northwest from the Golden Gate. Donald Trump at Northwest Stadium. The Lions beat the Commanders. Like the Washington Wizards, it's the Washington Commanders. They're commanding your mind through these subconscious rituals, through this sorcery. In that moment, on that day, 11/9/9/11, they commanded your mind to engage with the ritual that was the Lions beating the Commanders 44-22, as the Seahawks beat the Cardinals 44-22, as that related to the Golden Gate Super Bowl ritual that would come later in February of 2026. As that related to the Golden Gate in Jerusalem, the bridge that is trading places in and out. Michael Jordan and Michael B. Jordan then, of course, plays this twin role in Sinners and then wins an award for it. So he's back in the news cycle, putting all of that programming back into your mind at the right time, following the Super Bowl ritual and everything that has transpired in the Middle East since then regarding the war in Iran. Sinners, the film, was released on April 18th, 2025, and then Pope Francisco dies April 21st, 2025, 3 days later. So Sinners was in the news, and people were actually watching this film. Michael B. Jordan was front and center in people's minds right as Pope Francis dies at 88. So you have Michael B. Jordan twinned. You have the 88. Do you see what they did there? The 88 is subconsciously in your mind through Michael B. Jordan being twinned. And then they pull that back into your consciousness by putting Michael B. Jordan at In and Out after he wins this award that is allegedly prestigious, right? Nobody cares about these silly awards, but in terms of the programming, that's what they did. They put the 88 right back in your mind in the context of this grand Golden Gate ritual that's going on. Remember, the 88 also relates to the analemmas that the sun and the moon make in the sky as they transit each other. And occasionally, there will be eclipses through these transits of the sun and the moon. So naturally, the moon child, who is channeling that relationship, would be related to 88, which is where all of that Back to the Future 88 mile per hour Donald Trump stuff comes from. And at the end of the film, they show you the 88 mile per hour time travel with the Golden Gate Bridge in the backdrop as the time travel device comes into your field of awareness through the screen, which is in and out. Okay? That's the Golden Gate Bridge. So, in the aftermath of the Oscars, Michael B. Jordan goes quote-unquote viral for going to In and Out. Space Jam is 88 minutes long, which is likewise referring to the same thing, which of course stars Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny. So once again, you have the Stargate, or In and Out. Jordan and Bad Bunny, Donnie Darko, Francisco, the rabbit in Donnie Darko is Frank, which in Spanish is Francisco. And then you have Bad Bunny dressed in white, like the white rabbit Bugs Bunny, speaking Spanish at the Super Bowl, which is the Golden Gate Super Bowl ritual. This is the original art for the Space Jam film. You have Jordan and the Bunny. Space Jam, it's a space odyssey. You have the AM, as in Breakfast in America, over the two towers. You will go through the portal eventually through this ritual. The human being goes into the cartoon world, and the cartoon world comes into the real world. In and out. Trading places. Space Jam: A New Legacy, the sequel, is released in 2021, and LeBron James takes the place of Michael Jordan, but Michael B. Jordan is in this film. Now, I haven't seen it. I don't know exactly what role he plays, but he is in this film. Not an accident that he was cast in Space Jam: A New Legacy. See, they show you that right there in the clip where you have digital things coming into this world and then a human being going into the digital world. I assume that's what they showed there. I mean, I haven't seen this, but that's kind of pretty clearly what it looked like they were showing there, right? Stargates and portals, worlds colliding, in and out. The rings, going back to Sonic and Jim Carrey. Portals in that context as well. Making contact with artificial intelligence, which they show you in what might as well be a sequel to Back to the Future, Contact by Zemeckis, where Jodie Foster's character goes through the portal and her mind goes somewhere else and makes contact with beings that don't exist within our dimension, which is essentially what we are doing every time we turn on these devices. In his first remarks, American-born Pope Leo XIV calls for a church that builds bridges. Okay? The Golden Gate Bridge. That's what it is. This is NBA player Jimmy Butler on the left, and this is Michael Jordan. There is speculation that Jimmy Butler is Michael Jordan's son. Jimmy Butler plays for the Golden State Warriors and wears number 10, the binary, ones and zeros. Of course, Trump's attempted assassination was in Butler, PA, relating to Donald Trump 88 and the Golden Gate Bridge. Jimmy Butler, wearing number 10, playing for the Golden State Warriors with the Golden Gate Bridge on their jerseys. And indeed, subliminally, it's the war to turn your mind into their golden state. You see what I'm saying? It's a state of being that is a spiritual war taking place, at least from their perspective. Steph Curry's first NBA game was on 10/28/09. Irving Morrow, architect of the Golden Gate Bridge, dies on 10/28/52. Michael Jordan's last NBA game is June 14th, 1998. This is Donald Trump's 52nd birthday. Leo DiCaprio is at the game. 9/11 ends at 10:28 a.m. Stargate is released on 10/28/94. Jordan's game-winning shot in the NBA Finals in 1998 on Donald Trump's 52nd birthday went in with 5.2 seconds on the clock. We learn from The Last Dance, aired during the start of the COVID pandemic when everybody was inside glued to their screens, which again is another aspect of this ritual that you don't think about at the time. Think about what that pandemic and forcing people to stay home, telling them they could not leave, did as far as adoption of digital technology. I mean, it's easy to point to as it relates to corporations and work in general, where people are using Zoom to interact, remote work. Sure, that's going on, but just think about what everybody was doing for the most part as they're stuck inside. They're staring at these screens in a way that a lot of people did not before then, because a lot of people are active and they go do stuff and they're not glued to their screens all the time. But this kind of was putting everyone in a state where they're consuming content in this way, and they air The Last Dance right as the pandemic was declared and everybody was truly staying home thinking it was real. So a lot of people were watching The Last Dance, and subconsciously it's The Last Dance for us as human beings in terms of what The Last Dance usually implies. Indeed, in the context of that documentary, it's the last time that the Bulls would be together in the way that they were with Michael Jordan. Anyways, in The Last Dance, they air this behind-the-scenes footage where Jordan meets Leo DiCaprio after the game, and he tells Leo DiCaprio that he watched Man in the Iron Mask before the finals game. Now think about that as it relates to Mickey Mouse and the idea of altars and masks. Well, what is this technology? It's kind of an iron mask. It's man in an iron mask. Man in a technological mask, fusing with the technology. Anyways, he tells Leo DiCaprio that he watched his film, Man in the Iron Mask, before the finals game, which Leo DiCaprio was in, and Leo DiCaprio plays a character that was alive during the reign of Louis XIV, which ties right back into Pope Leo XIV from Chicago. And then there's all the stuff with Michael Jordan being known as Air Jordan, with his Jumpman logo, which is the same thing, in and out, jumping man from one place into another place, going through the portal or the Stargate. It's the Jumpman. It's Air Jordan. Satan is the prince of the air. And that's who Michael Jordan was, right? Air Jordan, symbolically. In that way, Michael B. Jordan, Michael 88 Jordan, Sinners, Twins, 9/11, is channeling Michael Jordan and Air Jordan into your mind through this ritual in a different way, in and out. Sinners, that's what you are, right? I mean, and from their perspective, it's justified because you are that. Then, around this same period of time, the Daytona 500 taking place a week after the Super Bowl, on February 15th, 2026, there is this viral story, quote unquote, where Michael Jordan is in the news for allegedly inappropriately touching Bo Riddick's body. And Bo Riddick is the son of Tyler Riddick, who won the Daytona 500. You can watch this clip if you want to. It is really strange, let's say, the way Michael Jordan is touching this boy's body. Which, in the context of the timing of everything, especially as it relates to the Epstein stuff, is very interesting. But the official explanation that they gave is even more interesting to me. As you can see here for the quote unquote interaction with the 6-year-old son, where they say that Bowman, he had ice in his clothes from the celebrations, where they dump tubs of Gatorade on people. And I guess they're saying ice got in the kid's clothes and Jordan was feeling them up trying to get the ice out of there. Which is an unbelievable cover story. I mean, maybe that's really what happened. I don't know. But regardless, that's an amazing story in the context of Pope Leo blessing the Greenland ice in October of 2025, as that then tied into Trump and ice and everything that was in the lead up to the Golden Gate Super Bowl ritual involving ice in the Twin Cities and those 237 deaths, both people born in 1988. There it is again, Michael B. Jordan, 88, twins, sinners. He goes to In and Out. They make a whole big thing of it because that's what this ritual is. It's the Golden Gate, in and out. Jumping man, Air Jordan. They're sending your mind through the air, metaphorically, right? Jordan being right next to Israel as that relates to Jerusalem and the Golden Gate and the return of the Messiah. The Prince of the Air. Michael B. Jordan playing twins in Sinners, which might as well be this. Do you see how these are the same things? 88, Michael B. Jordan, twins. In and out. The birth of their star child in your mind. It comes out of them and into you.